But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic. We're taking a look at more Disney Plus stuff. As it is reported that an Obi-Wan Star Wars is actually coming to the Disney Plus service. A Obi-Wan Kenobi series is reportedly being developed. And although we don't know much about it, here's what we do know. According to Star Wars News Net, Lucasfilms is working on an Obi-Wan limited series for Disney Plus, which could run for as many as 6 episodes. Apparently, plans were in place for an Obi-Wan film to shoot last year after Solo came out, but the project has since been retooled to reflect the studio's changing strategies in producing new Star Wars content. Disney CEO Bob Iger hinted at a slowdown on the movie's release schedule following Episode 9 this December. And what we're going to look at is what could this plot be? Because the only thing we really know about it is this. Plausibly, Obi-Wan is going to be on a smaller scale, character-driven drama exploring Kenobi's exile on Tatooine. So Disney Plus sounds like the best home for it. Mm-hmm. I will ask you, in your mind, is there any story or is there any sense of the plot that you're thinking, if I want an Obi-Wan series, this is what it has to be? Because think about it, it's only 6 episodes. It's not a lot.
Yeah, you know what? It also kind of depends on time, how long each episode is. Because let's say Game of Thrones final season is an hour and a half. It still makes a decent.
Yeah, I'm
decent amount of time.
You and I on the same wavelength. Because the first thing I'm looking up, I was like, how many episodes was season 8 going to be? 6 episodes. So it's on the same kind of a path as Game of Thrones. But would it be an hour, 40 minutes? Is it going to be a hour and a half episode?
Exactly. We don't know at that time. So let's just go hour. Let's say it's an hour. Mm-hmm. It would be. I actually think that would be an interesting storyline because technically, if you want to think about all the things Star Wars that has come out, we've had a lot of Obi-Wan like during the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. We had him. Obviously, we had him in all we had him 6 of the 9 movies that came out. Mm-hmm. So I would actually like to see. But I don't know what happens if there's already written or not in like the books of the storyline of like what happens in his exile on Tatooine, like they said. Yeah. Watching over from a distance young Luke Skywalker. And maybe like here and there throw like even the Empire, like villains from the Empire at him.
Like, and here's what I'm thinking, because I am looking right now on StarWars.com. Yeah. And I've got a little bit of here where they kind of do a nice job of splitting it up. So before the Galactic Civil War, which is the A New Hope, everything going into Star Wars Episode 4, they have it listed as the Dark Times. And what they have listed is one paragraph. It says, a young Padawan named Ezra Bridger comes to Tatooine in search of Obi-Wan. I'm sorry, Star Wars, like real big Star Wars fans. Mm-hmm. If I screwed that name up, let me know. Believing Obi-Wan was the key to destroy the Sith. But it was all a ploy by Maul to draw Kenobi out, and it worked. Maul had also come to the desert planet seeking his final revenge against Kenobi, the Jedi who bested him and changed his fate so long ago. They dueled in the dead of night, Maul attacking furiously, but it was over quickly, with Obi-Wan delivering one single fatal strike. The former Sith collapsed, and Obi-Wan cradled Maul in his life, or as his life slipped away. And that to me is another thing of like, if you're talking character driven, I don't know if they would do exactly that. Because I don't know if you would want, because they talk about the exile of Obi-Wan. Yeah. Do you want it to be beginning of his exile, middle of his exile, towards the end of his exile, into the galactic war, like you were kind of saying with like we're always watching over Luke, and it's kind of like an episode 4 thing where it's like, oh, kind of like Rogue One. Like how Rogue One was happening at the same time or happened right before.
Right between.
Episode 1.
It's wedged in there because that's where it happened.
Is this going to be on a smaller scale kind of the same thing of like, this happens right before Luke finds
I don't know. I think that would actually be kind of cool to incorporate that storyline in there because...
Incorporate the Rogue One story.
Not necessarily that. I'm talking about like the other thing you're talking about with
the
Maul.
Darth Maul one.
Yeah, make it like he's watching over young Luke and like make little things happen here or there that he kind of has to make sure he like doesn't get found by.
Yeah.
So like you can have like an Imperial soldier or two like scanning everywhere, and he uses Jedi mind trick to say basically these are not the droids you're looking for. Not that exactly, but like like trick him, say you're gonna tell him that you didn't find anything or anyone.
And the thing that also we have to throw out there with this is when you're thinking about the story, we already have 2 confirmed Disney Plus series for Star Wars.
Do we?
The Mandalorian series, which I believe that's the one that's being directed by Favreau, who is happy. But then there's also a Rogue One prequel starring Diego Luna's Cassian Andor. So they already have, hey, here's a Rogue One prequel, which really it's like, so the prequel to the prequel is what we're getting.
I don't even know if you consider Rogue One a prequel. It's just Rogue One was like it's kind of like, hey, we made this movie kind of fill in this little slot of like from
this
3
dead space.
From 3 to 4. This little dead space right here. This is just a very interesting storyline in between those 2.
Is when you're reading a book, because I don't read books much unless they're graphic novels. At the beginning,
does this book have pictures?
At the beginning, what's that part where it's like it's not chapter 1, but it's like is it the
preface?
The preface.
Yeah.
Would Rogue One be a preface?
I think
to
Rogue One
4.
I would say Rogue One would kind of be a preface.
Okay, because it's like one movie. It's not.
Yeah, if you're going to describe it that way, preface would be a decent way to describe that, in my opinion.
So this one's going to be a prequel to Rogue One, but also we've got the Mandalorian one as well too. That could change the Obi-Wan kind of storyline, because if you're going to do a Rogue One Rogue One prequel wouldn't touch this if we're doing like, hey, you could touch the Rogue One story in a way because it
doesn't have to mess with
before the Rogue One story even happened.
Yeah, I mean, even Rogue One isn't necessarily going to mess with the Obi-Wan storyline. So no, I wouldn't think the prequel, because it's touching something else happening in this huge galaxy that anything like one thing doesn't have to necessarily affect. Maybe chain reaction affects something, but not like it's not going to directly affect it.
Because like here's the only problem I see with Obi-Wan and them developing the story is you've kind of already hit on it. Obi-Wan's been in a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Like not even movies. Like he's been in, I'm going to list all of his appearances from StarWars.com. You ready?
Yep.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars Episode 8, Return of the Jedi. Star Wars Rebels. Star Wars The Clone Wars. That's everything. So 2 TV series, and what would that be? He was in what? Out of the 8 movies, 6 of the 8 movies. So he has been in a lot, and we've told a lot of his story where basically you have Phantom Menace's, him as a young Padawan, him going up against Darth Maul at the end. The whole Clone Wars, just the Clone Wars TV series and the Clone Wars movie.
Just beginning to end.
Told a lot about Obi-Wan, especially the Clone Wars TV series.
Yeah.
Told a lot about Obi-Wan and his story. And then you have the only middle ground that I think we haven't seen, but I think we did see it at the end of Clone Wars, was what I mentioned when Darth Maul came to kind of kill him.
Yeah.
Where it was like, hey, I'm going to draw you out. But at the same time, that to me is an interesting relationship, though. Because, and here's the thing. I'm thinking, I don't know this for sure, I'm thinking Disney would want, I almost said Ethan Hawke.
Ewan
McGregor. To be the actor and come back and play Obi-Wan.
That'd be cool.
They already have the guy who played Darth Maul because he was
Coming
in
back.
Rogue One. Spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen it yet. But we have the guy who played Darth Maul, like, in a Disney pocket. Like, they've paid him. So, for a 6-episode series, I think it'd be easy to get those two to come back. Because 6 episodes is not a huge commit. Well, I say this is not an actor. I say it not a huge commitment, but it's acting. It's a huge commitment.
But think how cool the storyline would be. It's you got him post exile, and we can go a few years in if you wanted to, like make Luke like 5 years old now or something like that. And you're not focusing on Luke. You're focusing on Obi-Wan, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like he's watching over Luke. He's got that, but then he's also making sure the Empire doesn't find him.
The ghost in the shadows kind of a thing.
Exactly. He's watching. He's make sure the Empire doesn't find either of them.
We can have some Tusken Raiders also.
Yeah.
I don't.
We had one friend that did that really well.
Yeah. But go ahead.
But then also incorporating the revenge plot of Darth Maul. No longer no longer necessarily thinking like focusing on being Sith. It's like no, this is completely like he's just revenge driven now.
Yeah.
And like have the final like if you're just gonna make it a 1-shot 6-episode series and be done with it, make the final one that final fight where he's like had all these years of I don't fight anymore. I've focused on the Force and in tuning with the Force. So like it's constant dodging and everything on his side.
You know what I would?
And there's just one.
You know what I would have loved to see from an Obi-Wan series, and maybe they could still do this. Give me Obi-Wan from the beginning. Like, because the first thing we see of Obi-Wan is him and Qui-Gon going on to the Federation. Like, give me him just starting. Like, basically, what we saw with Anakin, give me that with Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon finding him. Like, the Jedi finding him going through and becoming a Padawan, because we've never seen that.
That's true.
Ever. And that would be, and the thing about Star Wars too is, we're just talking about movies. There are so many books, Johnny.
Exactly.
That they have so much source material that they could do numerous things that we are probably not, like, there are probably Star Wars fans in the comment section giving us stuff that they could do, because
and please do.
It's not just here is what's in the movies and has been, but there is so much canon in the book.
Exactly. I think one of my friends told me this. There's actually a relationship that Obi-Wan has with someone. I don't remember who, but that can play into either the post-exile or somewhere else in the. I don't know where it is in the books, but I mean Disney can obviously do what they want with that.
And like for me, I sit here and I think, if looking at what we have here, if they're looking for character-based or character-driven drama, I should say, the Obi-Wan, if we're dealing with character-driven drama, exile on Tatooine, I think exploring the whole Obi-Wan, like, first off, him being exiled, like, get into the thoughts of Obi-Wan.
True.
Like, how much kind of PTSD-esque stuff is he probably dealing with?
Wake up in the cold
after
sweat
the
type
Phantom
thing.
Menace, after the Clone Wars. Like, he's been through some shit. And, like, maybe you could show that of, like, the something that the movies didn't really show.
Yeah.
And kind of be more real with it, where it's like, hey, like, going through all that? Yeah, I know he's a Jedi. I know he's powerful with the Force. But that has to take a toll on somebody.
Could you imagine basically making every episode kind of focused on something that, like, him focusing on learning something of the Force to deal with something in his past? So, like, almost every episode, wake up, like, flashbacks, wake up in a cold sweat, and then throughout that episode, him trying to learn and deal with that part of whatever he did.
Kind of moving on.
Yeah, kind of a
almost.
moving on and of like a different part of his past. And
Yeah,
then
that'd be interesting.
And then bring again. I keep harping on this, but bring the Darth Maul as like your past coming, like almost
At
like
the end, your past has come back to
haunt you,
and you've got to kill Darth Maul.
Yeah, that would be like the final like making amends with your past.
Yeah, where it's like as you're holding Maul as he's dying, as the life slipped away, it's just all right, I can move forward, and then bam, that brings you into episode 4.
And
basically, of what that is, it brings you right into episode 4 with Luke, and then the Galactic War, and everything with that. But yeah, this is something too that, let's be honest, they could rework as well. Because like I mentioned, Disney CEO Bob Iger, they've kind of shifted the movies where he said that after episode 9, they're probably not going to do a Star Wars movie for a while.
Yeah.
So expect more Disney Plus TV series, which might not be a bad thing.
Remember how I brought up the relationship thing? What if they play that as one of the episodes? Because that'd be another regret where he almost like, I don't want to say condemned Anakin for having a relationship, but it's like, I was in love with someone too, and almost like dealing like, I basically did this to him, and I made this monster.
Well, no, I let me change this.
Go ahead.
So, what if it's he thinks back on it like, because he did what you're supposed to.
Yeah,
I cut it off. I chose the Jedi Order.
Yeah, the Jedi.
What if it's him thinking, what if? Like, what if I did what Anakin did? Would I have gone to the dark side? What if I had a kid with this girl? Like, kind of that side of it, kind of exploring what would have happened if I didn't give up on what my heart was saying, and kind of shunned it to the side because the Jedi Order was what was really important.
I mean, it could be an all-around episode of all that, because I feel part of that would play into, he would think about what if I had gone down that route, but the other part is like, I realized I kind of like almost condemned Anakin and sort of almost pushed him into this now.
Do they need McGregor to play Obi-Wan?
I think it'd be cool to bring him back to do that.
Do they need it though? Like, in your mind, for this to be a success,
you don't need.
Do they need it, or can they recast an Obi-Wan?
They could, but I mean, it'd probably be better too, because you ended him leaving that age and that like McGregor, but then in you're gonna like, you can jump, but I mean we had a different actor and we can get him to do the old Obi-Wan, so I would feel like, I think it'd be best to bring McGregor back in.
Well, and looking at McGregor's IMDb page, the only thing he's really doing right now is obviously Birds of Prey, which is filming right now. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below. Star Wars fans, I want to hear from you. I apologize that I'm not I'm not like, so I like the Star Wars films. I probably should have said this at the beginning. Like the Star Wars films. I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but I'm not
we're not versed in, we haven't read them.
I'm not reading all the books. I don't know all the canon, like, encyclopedia knowledge.
So please let us know.
So that's where, if you are like that, I want to hear what you are coming at, because obviously you have a deeper knowledge of it than myself, who just likes the movies, just likes the Clone Wars TV series and stuff like that. So let us know what you guys think.